You can do it. Rob Schneider becoming one of the biggest pieces of shit on earth, shockingly, in 2024. What's going on, YouTube world? Ooh, Vincenzo. Indeed. IRP 203. Chat about some baseball. Chat about some football and constant injuries. I want to talk a little bit about that and like how many of these folks maybe wish there was a preseason game or two more now. So let's rush into the regular season. Um, Basketball starting up tonight.
Yeah.
And again, it's not something like we used to watch in the 90s where you're and even then you won't get excited because it's the beginning of the year. It's not that once you start getting into the season and back then it wasn't like Christmas time and oh man, 18 games on Christmas, we got to stay up and watch them. No, it was once you started rolling towards like after January 1st, after the football regular season was done, you still could watch playoffs in the weekend, and then basketball sort of like college and pros filled in.
Thumbs
And I
up,
mean,
thumbs
I
down.
know, and I know for you too, Steve, it was more hockey, but
Shut up. Hey, person waiting in the waiting room. Thank you.
No problem.
the Jeff.
I don't log on unless I'm ready to go. No.
Well, I'm aware, but still, I do like to ask because as you're cleaning your glasses.
I can still chat. How we doing tonight, fellas?
But can you see?
No. So
How
now
many
would be
fingers
the
am I holding
time.
up?
Yeah, now would be the time to make like give me a dirty look or something.
How many fingers am I holding up? Not you, Vinny.
Dave looks like Dave's giving me the middle finger, maybe.
No, that was the ring and the pinky. It looks like one though. See?
Yeah, okay, I do. I see it now.
That's he's lying.
Yeah, I'll watch the replay.
Oh, did we mention this one's not going to be uploaded to YouTube?
Yeah.
Why would we do that?
Yeah.
Views are declining.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy.
Hey, at least thumbs up are consistent. I mean, that's always a good thing. But then again, that's not saying much. It's not helping the algorithm, at least for us.
No.
Oh, but I forgot. We're not trying to become YouTube famous either.
Hit that thumbs up. Tickle the algo.
Yeah, so Eric can pay.
Yep. One day in the
nothing.
future, people are going to come back and they're going to go, wow, those four jagoffs had something going on.
I don't know if that's a positive or a negative.
You that take that as you will, baby.
That can be interpreted in so many ways.
Mm.
It is good to see you, Bob.
Thanks, fellas. Thank you. Good to see you. It's
always good to see you. So we
got
smorgasbord.
For this evening's topics, or what world problems are we solving tonight?
Football injuries.
Yeah. Nico Collins. Put him on my list.
The entire 49ers offense and defense. Yeah. Yeesh.
Mike Evans, Godwin. I mean, you got those two last night, and it.
Yeah, I'm 5-1 in my fantasy league, and I came. It was last night. I was up by like 3 or 4 points, and I had James Conner, and he had Mike Evans. So when I was indisposed until about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then I checked, and he had just walked off the field and into the tunnel. So and then I saw like he was having a nice game. Upon further review of that replay, it looked like he almost was hurt and just like that pain, like he got rid of that ball was the opinion of the guy. Like there was nothing else that he could do other than be in pain at that moment. But I don't know. Has there been further about him? Like what happened?
Hamstring.
He's out.
To the I think we got 3 weeks until their bye week, so 3 games, and then they're got a bye, and I think it's going to be after the bye he comes back.
Wasn't he on some kind of 1,000-yard season streak for like 10 or 12 or
11?
11, yeah.
And he just hit the 100 receiving touchdown milestone for his career, I saw.
Yeah. Travis Kelce get a touchdown yet?
Probably off the field.
Yeah, right.
I think that's what he's too focused on.
Yeah.
Kind of wild. I never even heard of Green Bay's tight end. Is he a rookie? At Kraft or something? I just was looking up
Second year.
I got second year. Got a lot of touchdowns.
From, I think, it was South Dakota State.
Of course, Dave would know.
Think Mark Andrews is going to stick around in Baltimore. I don't know what his contract stuff is, but it seems like they got that guy Likely that's doing pretty well. Or are they a 2 tight end offense? I don't know enough about it.
I think they run a lot of 2 tight. Or if they don't, they run a lot of 2 tight successfully. Where maybe Andrews sort of he doesn't do what like Gates used to do and like go wide. He'll go in the slot and then but his blocking's okay. I mean
decent.
So I don't know if he's got to be signed for another probably couple years anyway, but if he's not, I don't know what's the ramifications now of all these quarterbacks signing like the $50 million a year contracts are going to be. Like how you're going to be able to piece together your roster. Because again, that's why like the Niners were like in prime position. Because Purdy's still like
on a rookie contract,
50 cents, and everybody else you can squeeze in there. But now you've signed a couple of these guys, and well, what do you got going on? You got no McCaffrey, no Debo, Ayuk is out. I mean, it's
Kittle's day to day.
I know that doesn't bode well for my fantasy squad. Jennings was hurt this past weekend. They're hoping he comes back. I mean, who are you going to get for the Niners to play wide receivers? J.J. Stokes still got like half a game. I don't know. You just
Crabtree will come back. Wasn't he a 49er for a minute?
Terrell Owens will come out of retirement.
Ty Boots, he'll come off the street, and
Dion will, with
Dion. I hope
you might as well see what Jerry's doing. I mean, if you're that desperate, he could probably outplay some guys still.
Probably.
So
of course, I don't know. I don't know if he could take a hit though. that'd be the only thing.
No, because he's one of the guys in that. Is he one in the Pepsi commercial? I know it's Marino, Emmett, Moss, and then Jerry, and it's just like they're looking at the people get hit, and they're like, oh. I love the Marino part's the best, where you got the
Puts
stupid
on his
thing.
glasses. Puts on his glasses.
I popped for that because I'm like, that's great.
Hey, Grandpa. Moss catches it still with one. Who you calling Grandpa?
But yeah, all these guys getting hurt. They're holding out. I don't know. Yeah, and they're not like rookies. So you know the drill. You know your routine. You know what you need to do to get better. And okay, I'm gonna hold out. What are you doing in that time? Because I mean, there's a lot of these guys that probably aren't as busy or as active as they are, and you want to get a $30 million a year contract. That's absurd. Again, still in my mind, you're playing football. I know you're bringing in a ton of money to the organization, but if I'm doing that, I'm doing the Jerry Rice thing where I'm going in the summer, doing that up the stadium, doing the chopping up the stadium, down the stadium, running up and down, up and down. I'm just going nonstop, but I don't know. It would some of these guys must not have done anything, or again, Godwin. That's just a one where you get turned. You get turned the wrong way, and Aiden Hutchinson, same thing. I mean,
Oh yeah.
these aren't like conditioning injuries. These are just freak plays. So
How'd I know this was going to come up?
yeah,
I mean, I was sleeping. I didn't watch much of the game. I didn't watch any of it. I listened to a little bit on the radio on the way to work. And then the next morning, you know, I knew they were going to give Russ a shot, and rightfully so. I guess it was the tale of two halves. I mean, he really made the adjustments needed in the second half. I like to see him go down and score before the halftime. I think that kind of that was a big interception that led to a touchdown, and it kind of came out with that same momentum. Some things they were saying, and I don't analyze football and all this. So all this is just regurgitated from people that do. But like the difference being, well, first off, like Russ was nothing but a pro on the sidelines, leading up to this. He never didn't make any kind of fuss about not being the starter, blah, blah, blah. So kind of good for Fields to see that and now, reciprocate that and a lot. Just wait till your number's called if it gets called and support your team. But the difference was they were pointing out were like play call, like changing a route at the line or something with Van Jefferson, like being able to see a coverage ahead of time, but pre-snap and then pre-snap read type stuff and change it to have an impact. Plus, like hard counts versus quick counts versus long counts, like all the little just veteran kind of things. I don't know. I'm excited to see if we can build upon it. It's gonna be the Steelers' season, man. The last 6 of the last 8 games are all divisional games. It's kind of like I've never in my mind remembered it to be quite that way. We always play like Baltimore and Cleveland at the end, but to have all 6 divisional games kind of jumbled at the end of it's going to be interesting. So Baltimore looks pretty formidable now after starting 0-2. So if we can split Baltimore and then take 3 of 4 from the other 2 teams, I think we might be all right.
Well, and not to take away from Russ being kind of like the sportsman. At the end of the day, he's getting paid.
Yeah.
Getting paid a shit ton of money. So, like, it doesn't matter if he plays or sits.
From the Broncos.
He's getting fucking paid.
Yeah.
So,
But I think I don't see him as just like a guy. I mean, yeah, he is getting paid, and I'm sure he's fine with that. But I'm sure he also wants to add to his, quote unquote legacy in a way, and sees an opportunity maybe here. Hopefully, I'm not saying the Steelers are contenders in any way, but defense stays healthy. You got a good game. Above average game manager quarterback late in his career. I mean. I didn't see the game. My dad said he was throwing up some ducks before, and his balls looked better as he went through the game. But
I still think he has a nagging, lingering injury that he refuses to acknowledge and accept, which is part of his issue. But as I was telling Vinny early on, Denver gave up way too fast. He didn't fit in with Peyton. Sean Payton, that is. And they never bothered to address the offensive line issues. And I don't give a shit how good a quarterback or how mobile your quarterback is. If you have a shitty offensive line, you're going to suck.
yeah. No running game, and your passing game is in question as well, for sure. That's the kind of stuff I don't really like tune into. Like, who are some of the who has some of the best offensive lines out there right now? I don't know. And does that translate to like success?
It helps.
It definitely helps.
I mean, it's not a make or break, but it helps.
Yeah. Kansas City is still the only is now the last remaining undefeated team. Is that true, right? Steelers play them on Christmas.
But that's not saying much because Mahomes is garbage so far this year.
Yeah, it hasn't. It's weird.
They just find a way to win, and a lot of that has to do with their defense. Their defense has really helped them secure wins. But Mahomes, and I've said this for a while, and a lot of people will disagree with me. He is not as good as what everybody thinks he is.
Well, it's like they figured him out a little bit,
Well, and this season kind of proves it. Last season, he wasn't phenomenal by any stretch of the imagination. He's been lucky. And I'm not saying that Mahomes sucks. That's not what I'm saying. He is a good quarterback. Andy Reid finds a way to give him decent enough weapons to be successful. Offensive line is decent. Their defense is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't put him as upper echelon. I don't. I never have. And yes, I've watched plenty of football games. I haven't watched many as of late, but I don't have to fully watch all the games. Stats are a part of it, but that's only a small subsection. But when you look at his stats, they're bad. I think he has more interceptions than he does touchdowns this year. Don't hold me to that, but I think that's what I remember seeing. Where's the research department when you need them?
Sorting.
Not paying attention.
Sorting cards for Christmas.
How about joining the conversation, sir?
I said that Russell was going to suck. I'm eating crow right now, so I will admit when I'm wrong. I thought he was. Rumor was that I heard is they were going to showcase him to trade him, and in the first couple minutes, I'm like, yeah, he don't look like the Russell Wilson of old, and I'm like, here we go, and then he turned out to be pretty good. He was pretty good, so I was happy with the performance. I'm glad I did. Not being in Pittsburgh and not being able to hear the locals, like what's his name, the lunatic. Fix his name, Bob.
Mark Madden.
Yeah, Madden. That guy, it's like, what's gonna happen? And I'm just happy they're winning. We'll see where it goes. But
And I was right. Mahomes 6 touchdowns to 8 picks so far this year.
Wow.
Who? Mark Madden?
Mark Madden.
yeah,
So here
he did some.
we get the circle of life in the placeholder then, because on the right hand side, lowest rung's like I'm happy Chris Canyon gets a piece on the old placeholder. WCW. Who was calling Chris Canyon matches in WCW? Mike Tenay, Tony Schiavone, and Mark Madden.
That's pretty funny.
So, again, not that anybody cares at all, but I didn't think Mark Madden was going to be brought up at all. So that
bingo.
piqued my mild interest. So, lowest rung, you might have a couple things on your bingo card tonight.
Joe wants to know what's on your shirt, Benny.
It's the one I got at the National from Puck Junk. It's instead of from the Wrath of Khan, instead of screaming Khan, he's screaming Comps, the Wrath of Comps. I just thought it was interesting, and I like Sal. I like they get about as much views as we do, and I think they're opinionated, and we're opinionated, and
No, we're not. We hashtag scholarship. We speak nothing but facts here. Come on.
Oh shit. I try to be factual in all the state, but when it's my opinion, it's my opinion. So
it's a fact that we have opinions.
Yes, I will not bullshit.
Touche. Touche.
So
What's yours, Bob? I want to see Bob's shirt. One Man Wolfpack. Is that what's his name?
Yeah. A guy at work gave me this. He's since gotten fat, I guess, and well, he's not fat. He can't fit in it anymore. We'll just say that's the more polite way to say it.
He hit a growth spurt.
He had a growth spurt, right? So, and I, I like my T-shirts, so he brought it in. Right. He's more pear shaped now than carrot shaped.
As long as it's not a bent carrot.
Yeah.
It could be PD.
What is that? What is that again?
PD. Peyronie's disease.
Yeah. I thought it started, for some reason I thought it started with a J. No. But maybe I'm just
good right now.
maybe I'm just thinking of like the shape of the J.
It could be. Anybody get any update?
Did anybody have Peyronie's disease on their bingo card? Yeah.
Definitely not.
You did. You did right.
That's a right end for sure.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you won absolutely nothing.
You won nothing.
We're not sponsored, so therefore we can't give away shit. If we give away stuff, it comes out of our own pocket.
Yeah. Shockingly, nobody's hitched their wagon to this train car.
I was
Train
I was
wreck.
watching something the other day,
No.
and I watched it for reasons, and I'll before we talk about it, I got to get permission from someone to talk about it. But they had enough of freaking sponsorships on the top of that page. There was like 20 of them just splattered across. I'm like, you should wear a NASCAR fire suit, you know, for F's sake. I almost said it.
Again.
I'm like, dude, just sell your soul. It's just, I don't know.
Probably already has been sold.
Probably.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get other people's souls.
Bob has like 35 sponsorships. He just doesn't show them off.
That's right.
Like, hence the reason we've been in collections. By the way, checks in the mail, Bob.
Appreciate it. I'll be able to buy more cereal with it.
It may bounce.
What, the cereal or the check?
Yeah.
The check.
Some cereal probably does bounce.
Remember,
It's been a while since I've written a check. Now, come to think of it,
The last one I wrote was for the fence.
Once better half, I used to write checks for everything. Then better half took over the bills, and I haven't had.
Hey, Vinny, could C address an envelope if she had to? The three components on the front of an envelope that are needed.
I've showed her before. Whether she recalls, I don't know.
Whether she was listening.
They don't teach much life skills anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm coming to the point where
it's called Google. That's why.
Well, yeah, but I have to. My dad and I had this conversation a couple weeks back. He said, "Boy," and I said, "Yes, Father." And he said, "You're going to have to teach her basic stuff that they're not going to teach her, like reading." Remember when Dave wrote the letter in cursive and she showed it on the screen during the Christmas episode?
Yes.
She's like, "I can't read stupid cursive." I'm like, she could sign her name, and that's all that's as far as they went. If it kills me, I'm going to figure out how to get her to write cursive, and I'm going to figure out how to have her read cursive. And
but it's not needed. That's the reason why stuff is no longer taught. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
But that's the reason. Like, the written word is dead. Because everything is digital, spell check, and everything else. Again,
I've played. I can go faster, and it might not be as whatever, but anyways.
It's unfortunate. Yeah. It is unfortunate.
Yeah, so I might have told this a while back, but I literally my oldest, I showed her a picture or something, right? Well, we'll just use this as the picture. I showed her like a physical picture of like me when I was young or just something stupid. And she reached out and like to the physical picture, like tried to do that. I was like, what are you doing? So it's like a reflex, like to zoom in on a picture. Like, you can't do that with this.
That technology did not exist.
It's true.
Now, if you would have shown her a picture on a digital frame, then of course it would have been okay. But
Like, could you imagine if someone like, if like, you know, if you're out in public and something out of the ordinary happens, you know, like people's, it's again like a reflex to pull out your camera and start recording or something, right? Like, what if that was the mindset, like back in the day, like when you had to have like everybody just carrying around like shoulder mounted camera bags, you know, and like just setting up like, is the red light on? All right, I'm good.
Yep.
Is there tape in there?
Oh shit, the tape was full.
Right. That would be funny.
But that's what it would be.
That's what it would be, right? And then even when the little mini cameras, like that was a little bit more, where like the side folded out, you know.
And then digital cameras, same thing.
On there. I can see what I'm watching now instead of trying to look through like the peephole deal and.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine growing up like what we did or what today's generation is when we were growing up. I couldn't. That would have been.
Oh, that'd have been funny as shit to watch. Huh? I'm sorry, that'd be funny as shit to watch.
It would be.
Rotary phone.
He can do a rotary phone. My granny taught her how to do that.
But the fact of having to wait for it to go all the way back around, like you couldn't like do this and like real quick. You had to literally wait.
If your number was 9908, like you were screwed.
Yeah, you're waiting a minute and a half. You're like, oh, let's go.
And stuck at the end of a cord.
Dude, our cord progressive and like until we got a cordless, our cord just got longer and longer.
Yep.
I think that's where my OCD first started, like sitting there like trying to fix the kinks out of the spiral cord.
And then for some reason you'd have it go ding ding, and then like right in the middle, there'd be one that like just sort of like, and then back the other way, and I'm like, what happened here? Is this like the equator of the cord? Like now everything south of it's different than the north, or what?
That's right.
Well, I mean, they started out like 10 to 12 feet, and then somebody was smart and made them 25, and then all of a sudden it was like 50 foot.
Seriously.
What's going on, Jeff?
Hey, Jeff.
Major tripping hazard.
Yeah, especially if you went from like a living room situation and it was a private conversation, you had to go to like your room.
Yeah.
So just like right in front of the bathroom, something, and like you don't tell anybody. Say, hey, I'm gonna be in here for a moment. Watch for your steps. So you hear a big thud. Like, the hell was
an
it?
arm and a leg to have another fucking phone jack in another room.
Oh yeah, that was a big day when we got the dedicated line for the internet. You know, because otherwise, somebody picks up the phone and messes it all up.
Oh, the joys of inconveniences in our day.
How the pictures on the computer, like they downloaded top to bottom, like yeah.
And then like the red X would come up or just be that broken symbol code, like really. That that noise when the dial up. That was the noise that glad I don't have to hear that, but when I do, I'm like, ooh, that is a painful noise.
I've been watching like a movie podcast for a while, and it's funny, like they do a lot of movies from the 80s and 90s and stuff, and like when like movies back then attempt to like project what the future like would be, like Judge Dredd with Stallone, like those bikes, like they all have TVs in them, but they're like CRT TVs, you know what I mean? So it's like this big honking like monitor to like. There's no way that thing would fly with that in it, or like fax machines were that was like the future of modern communication, you know what I mean? To send an electronic message.
Especially in like the computer
So-
reading paper with like the ribbon on the side. It's like, oh,
Oh yeah, dude. My
that's
dad, and just loading that was a pain, but like, and then it was like Z fold. It was like, perforated and like so a friend of ours had that, and then they upgraded or whatever. So you just had all these reams of paper, and I like to draw, so like he gave that to my dad to give to me, and I'm like, I hated that paper because it was like just, I don't know, it didn't fit in my folders. I always had to peel the sides. You fold them, and then you had to separate each sheet. Yeah, that gives me nightmares.
it's like metric
really.
measured paper. It's like, come on, I got Canadian paper and an American folder. How is this working? Nothing's fitting in there.
Whoa. Yeah, I was the last year of typewriters for like our typing class. Then the next year they got computers, I guess. That was a loud classroom with just like 30 typewriters going off. Yeah, exactly.
That
And
good
like
old
the
correction
teacher,
tape.
oh yeah, Mrs. Ray, she had like the worst arthritis. Like her like fingers were like all crooked. I'm like, how? Because she probably had, I don't know how it was, like you had to hold your wrists up because then you would get carpal tunnel or this or that. Like all these things that aren't even a thing anymore.
Yeah, the
Things that
joys
aren't
of
things.
Tunnel's real.
ergonomic keyboards and everything else, because
Yeah.
that's the whole reason those became a thing.
Right.
Better half uses one of those ergonomic things. I can't get used to them. Just can't.
That's like the bent keyboard, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they're in the middle. There's a gap, and she just types away.
And it's raised a little bit different compared to like.
Give me the old
Mhm.
keyboard. I can't do that.
I use gaming keyboards for the sole fact that are not wireless. I use a gaming keyboard because I like the sound of the keys. And C does too. She likes the heavy because I blast keys. So I go through. I used to go through them like water at work because I type heavy.
So are you a hunter pecker?
No, I could type, but
Well, the fact that you did this, like, that's what that indicates.
I'm sorry. So
I
when I type,
had to
I type
ask.
hard.
Okay, well, I had to ask.
Okay.
The old,
Clarification here.
Better than being a pecker hunter.
As they say, to each their
To
own.
each their own. Yep. This is true. This is true. I'm so used to typing on a damn laptop keyboard, like
90
smaller.
90 to 95 words a minute, I think, back in the day. But again, that's
Well,
back in the
Impressive.
day.
I
So
was close to that.
my
Okay.
aunt was over 100. That late, you should see when my aunt used to work. She would take me down there where my uncle would go and for business.
Fairly
He would
City?
travel for months at a time, and she would take me to work with her early on Saturday mornings to go down there and work for like 4 or 5 hours. And I would just walk around and make sure everything was cool, but hang out with Jerome Lowry, who was the computer dude, and he showed me how to use Excel and Actually, Lotus 123 and that stuff back in the day. And she just, I have never seen 100 miles an hour. I was like, good gravy. She was the fastest. She goes, I was the fastest typist in high school history at my school. I was like, she got some kind of presidential award for it. I'm like,
well, back in those days, the faster you type, the more money you could make, though, too.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it was, because she went to work at the courthouse, and she was the #1 typist there. And then she became the head secretary for everybody. Then she got into human resources and stuff. So
I used to be able to 10 key like a motherfucker.
And that's oh yeah, I'm a 10 key blazer.
Yeah, not anymore, man. I watched my mom do that shit for years, and I'm like, how in the fuck? And she could do it also on like a calculator. I'll call it an adding machine with the fucking tape and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But she could do the same thing on that. And then, of course, they moved away from those and, just did 10 key.
Yeah, she what was her name? Shirley
Temple?
No, Shirley. She's nicest lady in the world. Can't think of
Shirley Booth.
Her name was Shirley. She worked with my aunt, and she did the 10 keys. She was the accountant. Her and Anita, those two, they can 10 key like a son of a gun. This is the same aunt to the Franco Harris aunt, so I'm just bringing it full circle. That has anything to do with cards, but I digress.
My grandma, she could write shorthand, which it looked like hieroglyphics. I didn't know. Yeah. I didn't even understand how that could be words.
Well, that's how court reporters are now. It's all done in fucking shorthand.
Yep, that's what she used to do. That too. When she worked in a courthouse. She did shorthand, and then she would do the minutes of the thing before they got those machines. That was all in shorthand, and then she would take them back and type all the real words out. She was a shorthand queen too. So love you, Linda.
Now, of course, all they need to do is technically like hit record.
Yeah.
And then somebody can go and transcribe it because all that stuff is still in written form.
No, a computer's transcribing that probably now.
Chat GPT.
That would cost cities way too much unless the taxpayers are going to float the bill.
True.
Just throwing it out.
Is stenographer still a job?
I think so. Pretty sure they're still there. But it's still shorthand.
Yeah.
So let's
cursive with the fucking feather in the inkwell. That's how they
quill pins.
Yeah.
That's back when shit looked really badass though too.
Oh yeah, that's the best handwriting that there ever was. That when you see that stuff, it's like I want to read that because that took a while to write. That wasn't some haphazard note done. That you knew it took hours if you had a book or something of that nature or some sort of document.
Yeah, 1.5, 2.5 words and having to re-ink your quill pen.
Fountain pens are wonderful. I have several of them. I actually bought CC disposable ones they make now because she wanted to try them. She's not only writing with them, she's drawing with them. So it's these old school things that are interesting. Thought I'd show that.
Very nice.
You're asking the wrong group of people, Baz.
I don't even have a smart ass answer for that.
I could ask my nephew.
I'm glad I'm sitting down. Bob not having a smart ass response. Jeez.
Well,
Glad
I do, but
I will see if I can. The research department shall research.
Well, so far this episode, the research department has a big fat F. Had to go do my own research.
I'm going through cards. I told you.
What's more important right now?
If I go to Expo, I have to have all our Canadian friends ready to go. So
You still have a few days.
I do, but
Focus.
F is for
Dave,
focus.
my parents are going to Amish country tomorrow
Tell them to give my regards.
in Ohio. Yeah. I gave them a picture of you to flash it, see if I get a discount or something.
Are they going to Rogers, Ohio?
Nah, it's like Sugar Creek, like Berlin, and one other place the dude couldn't remember. But it's like these 3 little towns that are like all on a stretch of road, and they just drive back and forth and eat pastries and buy crafts.
Yeah.
So there is purpose.
Oh yeah. And dude, like I went I went, it's probably been 5 years or 6 years ago, but I went maybe longer. But I would see like every once when my dad would come back, he would have like random packs that he acquired while there, but they were all like 2002 to like 2013 Bowman packs. I'm like, where are you getting these? And that's where he got them. But the year I went, I was pumped to find this like old dude in one of these like antique mall type places. And when we got there, his spot was gone, and like the people around him said he moved down to North Carolina. He was an old timer, probably had the packs since those years, and might not have necessarily known what he had. I mean, those are trout years and judge years, and I mean, there's always somebody from those years that are fun to collect, but never got a chance to actually buy a pack myself.
So going back to my question earlier, anybody get update yet?
No.
No, I haven't seen any.
I have not
It's
been
out.
to any Target or Walmart.
Mine'll be here Thursday.
When did I go? I think when we went when we went to Appleton, I think we went to a Walmart there, but I don't even know if I looked at cards there.
Dude, they had Topps Chrome tennis at the last time I went to Target.
Yes, that is a thing.
We went to Meijer tonight, but it was only the grocery Meijer. They don't have cards. It doesn't have like basically Meijer's like a Kmart type deal, and Super K, I should say. And they didn't have any cards today. Usually their cards are marked up by 25% too.
Well, of course.
Does Michigan have Menards?
Yes. So on the way to Michigan was the first one I ever saw in Ohio. And then they built one out by where Cease plays soccer. There's a Menards, a Walmart, a BJ's, Home Goods, and something else. And then now they built one probably about 6 minutes from my house on Van Dyke Avenue. And we've gone there twice, and both times we had our credit card stolen. So I don't go there anymore.
Last
Why?
came.
Wise
The end of an
decision.
era.
Yeah, but that's happening to a lot of stores. Hell, like there was an article talking about Best Buy is closing down a shit ton of stores.
Wow. Good. They don't sell CDs anymore.
Movies either.
Well, that's because digital medium is pretty much a dead art. It costs too much money to.
Good.
Again, I'm not saying that that's a good thing. Because like I'm like I'm a lot like you. I want to be able to put a CD in a CD player. I want to be able to put a DVD or a Blu-ray in a freaking player.
Yep.
This whole everything going to but it's cheaper.
Dude, this phone right now is leaning against a VCR DVD combo.
I just took my DVD. I just took mine to the electronics recycle in our subdivision that we had Saturday. It stopped working anyways, so it's not like it was worth a damn. But yeah, I had one for a lot of years. But that's just the way shit is now. Like I'm pretty sure you can still buy DVDs and CDs on like BestBuy.com.
Amazon, you can. So,
but that's the reason why they're shutting down some of the stores is because a lot of people nowadays they're buying everything online and having it shipped.
Which I found so much, and I know we've talked about it on here before. I used to find so much fucking rap that I had no clue about. When I just went to Best Buy and I just started looking through like the section, be like, okay, let's go from A to Z. What do I got? What covers look cool? Hey, this is a 2-disc thing that actually has. It's not like 8 songs per, so you basically get a regular sized single CD. This has like 18 songs on each. Again, probably like 6 skits or whatever in there too, but I'm like, still, you get 30 songs and it's $13.99. I'm like, that's a deal. I'll buy that and see what it's like. But yeah, it just I don't care about streams. I don't care about uploads. I don't care. I want to fucking pop a CD in my car and listen to it. Like Matt Mason, the one that Bob was gracious enough. I told him, make sure listen to this guy. Make sure. So I know Bob. I feel well enough that was going to be that'd resonate.
It appealed to me.
And he's got his shit just came out, but it's a fucking record. I'm like, what is going on here? Where we're going backwards. I'm like, I even messaged him on Instagram, which I've gotten no response to, but I'm like, are you gonna have a CD or something? Because that's what I get. I buy CDs, and I don't have a record player. I'm not the record that you sign is cool. That at some point I might just buy that to support him, but I'm like, I want a CD. I can't fucking put a record in my goddamn CD player in my car.
Yet.
They make them like so. Yeah, that's what you need. It's just like they're like record players, but they also have Bluetooth. There's one upstairs my dad has. It's like it looks like an old timey record player, but it's got a tape deck. It's got a CD tray, like record player on top. It's Bluetooth. They're pretty cool. Little like Victorola things.
And I mean, I get that. I like that. For like the home.
Yeah.
That's great for the home.
Right. Not so much in the car.
Yeah, records have a tendency to would skip a little more frequently.
You hit a bump, and I'm not going to be trying to. Let me check the needle there.
That was like a thing for CD like Discmans where you had that like it had a 15-second or 30-second or like 1 minute. Like you could sit there and just tap on it; it wouldn't skip because it had some built-in like I don't know
shock
what it was, like delay or resistant thing.
Yeah. And
The shock thing. Yeah.
Because I remember
Yeah,
that like
right.
the
It's
cover
like-
of it or whatever, and like, oh wow, shock absorber, and then I'd start walking and start fucking skipping. I'm like, I know I'm a big guy, but I mean, I don't got that much stuff like bouncing around to knock that fucker off kilter. So, yeah, it's frustrating because that was such a fun time when they went away from like the Tuesdays. For me, remembering that the Tuesdays were like the drop date, and then they went to Friday, and then it just pretty much like just you didn't know what the hell when it was going to be. Nobody really said anything unless it was something major, and even then, now you've had what, like Taylor Swift came out the last one, like pretty much middle of the night, and it's just like, oh, it's here. It's like, okay. I mean, I remember people like lining up at Best Buys and like Circuit Cities and like FYEs when something dropped, like the Backstreet Boys. Again, TRL, you'd see the drop day and you'd see across the street in the fucking whatever the CD store. It was like Mariah Carey was giving out hand jobs there.
Well, that's one way to put it.
I'm just
Right.
like, oh, it's like everybody's there. It's like, holy crap.
It was the same thing though with game releases.
Yeah.
Midnight release. I
Yep.
can't tell you how many times I went and sat outside a GameStop at midnight for the midnight release of certain games. Now, granted, they still issue physical copies of a lot of games, almost all games, but most people digital download. Boom, done. Not having to drive, not having to wait in line. I'll start playing before everybody else does because I'm already sitting on my ass at home. And then of course the good old Blockbuster days. That's where the bulk of, well, between Best Buy and Blockbuster, where the bulk of like my DVDs came from. Buying used DVDs for $3 and $4 for a movie that came out 6 or 7 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you could get new ones still sealed for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
Because they were just clearing out inventory. And at that point, stores actually realized selling stuff at a discount it's better than just throwing it in the garbage and writing it off. But then again, what do I know?
You're an idiot, just like us.
Ah, geez. Thanks.
Love you, Steve.
I see where I rate.
I love you. Just
Yeah, because in truth be told, I almost made a snarky remark. One of your responses back during the Steelers game, I don't even remember exactly what it said, but my name was in lowercase. And I almost responded back. It was like, well, shit, I obviously have now dropped below the lowest rung. I can't even get a capital letter in my name. Not feeling the love.
my bad.
It is your bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a story of my life, as they say.
Yeah, well, you're not alone in that.
Soon he'll be drawing the S backwards,
Well, I'm sure Apple has it.
J is for Jagov. It's good enough for me. It's what it is, what it is, as they say.
As the kids say.
Well,
I don't know. She speaks another language, and then she'll pause and she'll go, "Dad, did you understand?" I'm like, "No." So put that in something Talk to me like I'm an idiot, please. It's not hard. My wife will tell you.
It is what it is.
That'd be a cool logo.
Yeah, the whole freaking slang of the youth is like, say what?
Then
I
some
sent
stuff.
you the video. I sent you guys a video in the group chat. Everybody,
I don't watch half of those days.
you need to. That one was like a bunch of just gibberish what the idiot children of today sing and say.
And
It was
then some stuff like you hear it and we think of what it meant for us
Correct.
if it was in existence, which a lot of it is, and you're going, that's not even in the fucking same ballpark. Like, how in the fuck did it go from this to this? And I don't have any examples. I apologize. I'm ill prepared for this conversation because that was not part of the topic. But you're going, huh?
I like when they.
Sorry, go ahead. Brian.
Well, just they take a word, and I'm trying to think of the example I heard the other day, but you take a word and you sort of you say it, but hipper, but it's like you to make it. I don't know, but it's the same amount of syllables, so it's like just say the word, that you're trying to say with this hip new phrasing and stuff, or like you just pronounce a syllable a different way. Or you just shorten it up. I was on a kick where like instead of saying suspect, you just say it. That's sus. So like, any chance I got, I would just use the first syllable of a word, and it annoyed my dog. It annoyed them very quickly. I'm like, that's how you sound all the time. Like bro. Now it's bruh. Now it's just like buh.
Screw it. Just start talking pig Latin.
The best is when she'll go to Meredith. She'll go brah, and Meredith will go, "I am not your bra."
Mom, mother, ma, bruh. There's
a
shirt. There's a fucking shirt.
She'll do the Stewie thing, mom, mummy, mum. really piss her off. I'm like, why do you do this? I said, you don't get the repercussions. I do.
No, Naomi called me bruh, and I said, motherfucker, I'm your dad. You call me that again, your softball shit goes in a burn pile. I said, you can call your stupid friends that, and the people you don't like, you call me that again, that not gonna fly.
Yeah, there's a fine line with like ha ha he kind of joking and like being disrespectful. And you're probably one of the parents like me and probably the other two people that it's like, I beg your pardon? Don't ever let me fucking hear you say that again.
Yeah. We can joke and cut up and kid around, but guess what? When you're trying to talk to me or I'm trying to talk to you serious, and that's what you're coming back at me with, or you want to have some sort of resolution to whatever conundrum you've got, and that's the way I'm not your fucking bruh. I'm begging you, I'll pick you up and I'll splash you like King Kong fucking Bundy, and that'll be the beginning of the demise. I'm not going to deal with that shit.
Your friend's parents may allow it, but not in this fucking house.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
Like I always tell her, I said, out there it's 2024. In here, it's 1996.
Yeah.
Tony Soprano's words to the wise back in the day when his kids were acting a fool. He goes, Out there, it's whatever. In here, it's 1954. It's just the way it rolls.
Yeah. Could you imagine what it would have been like us growing up and saying, "Hey, bruh," to our parents?
My dad would look at me.
We'd have been picking up our teeth off the fucking ground. What are you talking about? Vinny, you hit the wrong button, obviously.
Oh, shit. I'm 46, 47 years old. My dad has never laid a hand on me ever. Because I knew growing up that the punishment would be so severe if I raised the bar to that level. And it's probably why I have a very long fuse. And I've never hit my daughter, and I don't ever plan to. But like I always say, when I seen him going, and when Dad went DEFCON 1, just clear the freaking, just go, just don't be near him, because anything in it, it's a path of destruction. He was a coal miner. He could bench press 300 and some pounds. He's a big dude. And I knew better. I never said it's like if anybody ever says anything to your mother when you're with her, you know what to do, right? I'm like, yes, sir. And I would never call him sir. I called my dad Chief. I always did. I don't know why, but that's what I did. But I knew better. And my mom would come. She'd come burling. She's 5'4". She'd come burling with her hand in the air like she was gonna do something. I said, my dad would just sit there. She goes, Rose, your sons are 5'10" at the time, 5'10", 5'11", and 6'2". You whacking them is like the buzzing of flies to Vigo and the Ghostbusters. It ain't gonna do nothing. And
my mom was 5'2", and she scared the living shit out of me.
My granny, she'll beat you with a broom. My grandpa, that's another one that never laid a hand on me, but because I knew better. My granny just would look at me, and I'd be like, "Yeah." But my mom would yell at us for the stupidest. We'd be wrestling or screwing around, and she'd, I'm like, or we'd let a cuss word slip. That's the one that got the wrath.
I got hit with a fucking wooden spoon with a hole in it.
Nope, never.
Okay, correction. Quotes, spanked. Hitting is not the correct word, because hitting can constitute violence and abuse.
There's a difference between discipline and abuse. There's a big difference.
Correct. Like, it didn't happen often, but right on the fucking inner part of your thigh, son of a bitch, bare skin, that shit fucking hurt. And I deserved it. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't deserve it. I was a fucking hellion for a lot of years.
Yeah, I mean, me too. And then the threat of it became enough to get me straight, you know?
Oh, hell yeah. Once or twice was enough. It's like, oh shit, I remember what that felt like before. Yeah, Yep, time to run.
It was kind of like if we were out, it was all that was needed to be said was wait till we get home. and then I had to figure out how much time that was going to be and how much time I had to as an opportunity to make it right.
My dad used to make us sit on the couch together for hours. If we did something stupid, and we would just have to sit, no TV, no nothing, and we would just have to sit in silence. And he goes, "Have you learned?" He goes, the moral of this story, you guys got in trouble together. You're going to face this world together. Look to each other and never let each other down. That's your lesson for the day. Then we were go about your business. Let's go play Nintendo. Tiger helicopter game. My dad would sit there with his thing and die
Tiger
in a couple
Heli.
seconds. Yeah, Tiger Heli.
That was a good one. That was a hard one, man. I couldn't get past the first level.
It's like Top Gun. The first thing you had to do is land on that damn aircraft carrier.
Could never do it.
The day my brother Jim was able to do it, I said, "Son of a gun!"
Yep.
Then speaking of video games, I remember the day my brother waited in line, my baby brother, for what was it, Super Mario Brothers 3. And him and his buddy Casey stayed at my granny's that night and literally played that game. And in the morning I came down, they were still there. They beat it.
Oh, wow.
They took a Polaroid picture of it. I wish I could find it.
That's what I did with Call of Duty all the time. I took a week off from work.
My brother loved Super Mario Brothers. He was so freaking good at it. He was like the kid from Wizard, that movie.
Do like
Yeah,
modern games like Call of Duty, is there a campaign mode, or is it all just like, oh, there is?
Oh, yeah. Now, I can't speak for any of the newer ones because I can't tell you the last time I played a video game, to be honest. But 3 years running, me and my brother-in-law and his boss, actually, we took a week off from work, went to midnight release, and we played until 7, 8 o'clock the next morning to start off. And then, of course, go catch some Z's, and then again, you're on it again later on in the day. Did it for 3 years in a row. But that's back when I had, quite a few people that I played with all the time. So it was fun and enjoyable. I don't know who all plays anymore. So I stopped. I still have my systems. I haven't gotten rid of them.
So you would not be cracked, as the kids say, if you played today.
And that means what?
When you're cracked at something, it means you're like the boss.
Oh,
You're
This
boss
is another
level.
one. Cap, no cap.
What's the other one? Slay. She said that over, and they were like, Slay. I'm like, Santa?
kill?
Chainsaw Massacre Slay.
Yeah.
Like
I think
outfit. You can't say outfit. You just have to say fit. If you got game, you got Riz. If you got game, you got Riz.
And that was the one that I put you guys in the thing that it's absolutely absurd, but it's just, I laugh because it's like all these stupid things that the youth say, and just I shake my head.
You know what the drip is, right?
But that's been around for a little bit too. Like,
Yeah.
I want to say one of them rappers, and again, I don't know which one. Little Turnpike or something had a song like the Ric Flair Drip or something a few years ago. It was like the Ric Flair, and Ric Flair was in it, and I don't have a clue who it was, but so
That's the least important part of the story.
yes. Just listening to some of those, like they chop the word off, and I'm like, it's just, especially if it's like a short word. And again, I can't figure in or give any examples, but I know I've heard like words that are like 5 letters, 6 letters, like just a 2-syllable word. this isn't like, I don't even, like a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious type of word. Or yeah, let's trim it up a little bit here and there. I don't need to sit there for a minute to clear the word, but it's like, man, you're just enabling the stupidity of people, and everybody's saying just dumb.
I've been known to be sitting at a stoplight, and the minute it turns green, and everybody's still sitting there, go like.
See, I
That's what you do. What you gonna do?
I scream out green means go, and then usually a lot of expletives, and then Naomi says that would have been a perfect opportunity to honk, and I said yes, but I'm trying to restrain one aspect of my driving. If I scream and yell and call them every name in the book, not the good book, but the other book, then okay, that's we're not going to climb on the horn, flick them off, throw whatever I can at them. I mean, then that creates more trouble than it's worth.
I did that today. Other than flipping somebody off, somebody freaking cut me off because the freaking lane was closed, and literally like squeezed into a small space between. And mind you, I just gone to the dentist, so of course I lay on the horn and then I start freaking cussing at the top of my lungs as I'm like, because my mouth is still numb. I'm here having to like wipe off the steering wheel because I'm like spit all over it.
Daffy ducking.
It's like I've gotten a lot better over the years, but like at a bare minimum, like the part that pissed me off more than anything is the fact that no blinker, just because the lane was closed and you thought you saw an opening, that you're just going to squeeze your ass in and not like, no blinker and no thank you. Yeah, guess what? You're going to get the fucking laid on horn and I'm going to cuss you up one side down the other.
So my mom, we were driving the other day and like trying to get across traffic out of a parking lot across the lane, and the lane going the way that we didn't want to go. There was like a gap there, but because they were approaching a red light, and a car could have easily stopped before the intersection, so we could have just driven across the out of the parking lot across the road to get to the road we needed to be on. But he pulled up and like prevented that from happening, right? So the next car kind of gave us some space before, like when the red light turns green, then we can go. So when we got, and they stayed there so we could get across, right? We still had nobody coming the other way. But my mom, like, speaking of like thanking, being courteous, thanking, she went, thank you. Like, she's like motioning like this. Like, I'm like, Mom, they think you're upset like that. I wouldn't be in that car. They can't hear you saying thank you, and I'm sure they can't read your lips too. Just give a little like this.
Yeah.
Like, you all these big motions, it looks like you're pissed off. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, you're doing it wrong. Right. Like, I know you're upset at the guy before you, and you're like emphatically saying thank you because this guy, but they don't know that, so they just think, "Hey, lady, I freaking let you out," So, like, it's the little thing. The thank you wave is very important for sure.
Yes,
and I told that to Naomi too when she like crosses the street and people stop. I say, A, don't fucking look at your phone when you're crossing the street. It's this side to that side. We want to get there quickly. You're not a main, and that's another one too, a main character. Stop having your main character moment. Fucking walk your ass across, because I see it so much with, it's not just kids. There's adults, and that's where I will fucking hammer on the horn. Don't look at your phone. Get to the other side of the goddamn road and then politely wave. That's it. You don't need to sit there and like, because that you're going through a main character, just and then quickly scuttle across. So you see it so much of people just looking at their phone and like traipsing and dragging ass. I'm like, fuck you. Get across the street, you dipshit. Move.
Yeah. That was when my dad knew like he could no longer work in downtown Pittsburgh because people would just walk into the street slowly across the street, and they like stare at you almost like daring you to like do something about it. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, he's like, I sometimes I just want to run them over, Bob, and I probably shouldn't feel that way.
Well, that's because in a lot of places, pedestrians have the right of way, so they don't care.
They're not when you're jaywalking.
Yeah,
that is true, but still, in a lot of situations, pedestrians have the right of way, so they don't care.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk even slower just so.
Oh.
You know, it's like when somebody's tailgating you, and it doesn't make me do anything but go 5 miles an hour slower. You know.
Yeah, if you want to go 80 in a 60 or 65 because it was your fault, I'm guessing 99.5% of the time, maybe there's an emergency, more than likely there's not, that you want to get to wherever you're going faster. I saw that coming back one of the times from the cities. I'm like, man, this motherfucker is chugging. I mean, I was going 72 in a 65, and I'm like, I'm pushing it in my world. And this fucker just, I could see coming up. I'm like, ooh, and just zoom. Where's the sheriff now? And about 5 miles ahead, there was a sheriff, and then about another 3 miles ahead, there was the person pulled over. So I'm like,
Oh,
finally. I'm like, they were going just.
Like, that's a rarity, man. That's a rarity that you actually get like the payoff of seeing that person pulled over.
Especially watching all those fucking car wreck videos and all that stuff. You never, and you hear it in there. I've never seen one of these happen where they actually get caught. I'm like,
yeah.
So I finally had that moment.
I don't mean to cut it short, fellas, but I gotta jump off here. I got an 11 o'clock meeting I gotta get to, so I don't get to them very often. But I'll always a pleasure.
You mentioned 10:30, so
yeah.
So it was life lessons here tonight, pretty much. You know, don't be a jagoff is pretty much what we're saying.
Pretty much.
That's usually always the going statement.
Yes. All right, guys. We'll talk soon.
All right, it's good to
Later,
see you.
everybody.
Later, Robert.
Guys.
Speaking of downtown Pittsburgh, apparently my baby brother used to pick me up when I was in school in downtown Pittsburgh, or actually in Oakland. And
that's in California.
They would Oakland's also in Pittsburgh, North and South Oakland, Pitt's campus. So
Oakland's also in Michigan.
It was what avenue was that? There was Fifth Avenue, and it was
Crenshaw.
No, John Cooker Mellencamp Street. But anyhow, they would just whiz past there, and my brother would just jump out. My aunt had a Bonneville, and he would jump out and he hit me. I need the money, and they would like, screw you, asshole. He goes, no, screw you. Come here, because my brother's from a little town, and that stuff don't bother him. If you want to throw down, throw down.
They whizzed past him?
They whizzed past him. Flying past, whiz past. Again, colloquialisms. As you say, what did you call it in the Christmas episode? Barley pops?
You would know more than...
Yeah. I should know the nomenclature for that one. Regional dialect. That's what you called it.
That's true. That's just true.
Prove it, Vinny. Prove it.
Yeah. Next week, I want to have you in front of like the whiteboard and like John Madden with the Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Right here.
Steve angered a
Bob
lot.
Lewis.
when
Bob
I
Lewis
used
opens the package.
fractions.
He goes, boom, boom, pow.
Watch this. Watch Steve do a math lesson.
Fuck you.
I will not do it to you this year.
I just won't open it.
I don't think I'm doing the individual rap bullshit that I did before. I'm cussing a lot this episode. But I think I'm just going to number them and throw a decoy or something on the front and top.
Cut them in half.
Something like that.
By the way, I need your dad's number so I can give him the timestamps for this episode.
I could do that. He's probably sleeping right now. He's on odd schedules because of my brother. So it's hit or miss. I could call it 12 o'clock in the afternoon on my lunch and try to get him, and he's out, and then call it 9 o'clock at night and he's sleeping again. And my brother, my phone will buzz at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's my brother liking pictures or commenting back. His sleep schedule is non-existent in a normal pattern, I should say.
I'm just glad I can't hear the fucking buzzing when my phone goes off at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Sometimes, like, that's why I go to the private chat with Paul, because him and I can talk to like 1 o'clock in the morning via text because he's 3 hours behind. Or if he's working nights, and I'm up and I can't sleep. So you're on mute.
I thought I hit the unmute button. Instead, I hit the camera first. Sitting there trying to take an old man nap during the weekend. In somehow, shape, form, or fashion, that's the time in which everybody decides to send one text message, and then everybody has to fucking respond.
That was today.
Well, that's in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Like during the work week. I happened to be at the dentist, so I didn't get a chance to read any of that until like I got to the dentist, and then when I got home. But on the weekend, it's like, zzz, zzz, zzz. Motherfucker, guys, shut up.
No, keep it going. Lucky our DM in our Instagram thing doesn't go off.
Oh, my phone vibrates.
Oh, mine doesn't. I don't have notifications on that.
So I get it from either via the group chat on IG or text message. But it never fails. The one time I actually, because I've been doing a crap ton of stuff or whatever, and I'm a little worn out, catch, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, rest the eyes type situation. Yep. And my phone just buzzes. It's like, mother effer. And yes, I know I could turn off notifications and all would be well, but.
And again, this isn't like a jab, but don't just like turn off the sound.
There is no sound. It's just, it vibrates.
I know, but like on this one, it's I can have sound, vibrate, or zero. Like nothing. Sound, no sound, or it buzzes.
Yes, I am aware, but it's one of those in which I do have people that report to me. So like,
That's always.
and yes, it shouldn't matter on the weekends, but it's one of the, like, why am I going to
Now turn.
constantly remember, turn it off, turn it back on?
Yeah.
Like, no. Work smarter, not harder.
I
But
get
then, of
it.
course, with my dad and like just who knows. Which is like, I mean, if I was smart, I'd just like fucking buy an alarm clock, and I wouldn't have to worry about it. But
like
the worst,
CDs, alarm clocks have gotten the way of the dodo bird because everything's
yes,
on your fucking phone.
yep, everything's on the phone. The hardest part, honestly, is when like it's, and I won't say it's during the week a whole lot, but Ed, because what he does sometimes gets on his high horse later in the evening, and I try and shut down, and by shutting down, it's like, okay, alarm is set on the phone, it's on the bedside table, I'm watching a little bit of TV just to kind of wind down a little bit before turning it off and going to bed. That's the worst, when all of a sudden it's like,
Mm.
here comes 15 text messages. Or Dave happens to still be up and he sends, like 7 or 8 messages in the group chat on Instagram. Or it's Vinny. It's like,
Or
guys,
the Apple users like a message or react to a message.
yes.
I'm like, Lois Strung empathized with the message.
Yep. Lois Rung disliked a message.
Empathy in the group chat?
Is that even a thing?
Yeah, I'm like, what? Because I think
And
Ed
then
had to make or whatever. It was like bam, bam, bam. And I think Bob had the same thing, like 3 in a row of like
that
laughed
was
at.
earlier today. Yeah, that was earlier today.
I'm just like, that's an Apple thing because I don't have that on the old Samsung.
Yeah, neither do I. And I've got a new phone. Well, new work phone, because like they pay for it. But you would think at some point in time, like Android would do something like that, because Apple's had it forever, and they always try and somewhat compete with each other.
Yeah.
But that's also the thing. Either you're an Apple or you're an Android. It's no different. You're either an Xbox or a PS or a PlayStation. Like, I like them both, but when I got my first Xbox, I stayed with Xbox. But before that, I was a PlayStation guy.
I just like the PlayStation controller better. I mean, I played a few games with that 360, the Madden. I don't know what year it would have been. 10? 10 or 9. I think
10.
well, I don't. It's either 09 or 10. I don't. Whichever one had Palomalu and Fitz on it.
Couldn't
And
tell
it
you.
was
I never.
one of those 2 years because I wanted to be the Bengals. Because they had Chad Johnson, Palmer, Manzad, and Rudy Johnson. So I'm like, okay, there's a nice base of like offensive weapons I can immediately think of, and I didn't have to think of anybody else. I'm sure again, if you play for fucking hours a day, it won't matter what the control is. You'll eventually figure it out.
Well, it all becomes secondhand nature.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
But
the thing.
When I was just like, I was playing that NCAA like 03, and I'm like, okay, right away, I know what to do. There's like the juke button, the L1, L1, R1. The triangle was like a spin move or whatever. The circle is a spin move. Triangle is like a deke, and like it's like One of them was like a turbo or whatever.
The PlayStation controller fits a little bit better in your hands because of the design. So, like,
Yeah.
I get it. But my whole thing had to do with the games. Because, like, Resident Evil, when it first came out, it was PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And then Resident Evil 2, and that was PS2, if I'm not mistaken. But then that's when, like, a lot of games potentially started going cross-platform for a bit. And I went to Xbox and never went back. Again, like I like PlayStation because, like you, I like the feel of the controller.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, Xbox also has like Gears of War. Love that game because it's nice and bloody and you can chainsaw motherfuckers. I don't know. It was more the games than on Xbox than it became. I don't know. Plus, I think Road Rash was on. Was it Road Rash? Motorcycle? I think it was also on
Might be.
PlayStation.
Might be.
Had Soundgarden on it. And the soundtrack.
I don't remember if it had it for Xbox, but I had it for PS2 when I got it. I don't know if it was at like a GameStop or a Disco Round, one of the two. It was an SSX Tricky.
Oh, I
Two.
loved it. It was also on Xbox.
Sure. Just the noise when you went down the hill, and then of course when you hit like the massive trick.
Yeah.
It's like it break out the the Run DMC, and I'm like, oh, I just so fun. And again, it's not even you're getting points, but you're not doing anything. It's like mashing the fucking shit out of
Yep.
buttons.
Yeah, just doing a bunch of this in the air and hoping that you land. Yep.
Like, what can I do? What if I do this? And then like, I'm just, like that ain't helping anything, but you're just trying to do something. Oh god, I love that game.
Yeah,
Try to
all
show
the
me how to do,
multipliers.
like playthrough on like YouTube, and it's like that doesn't look fun. I'm like, I thought the same thing until I'm like, it was like $9. Like, I'll try it. Snowboarding, it's got to be somewhere. It's something to do.
I think
Like,
I still have I think I still have my copy.
I said, once you got going on that and you started figuring out a couple things and you actually read through directions, or you went online and looked up like a cheat code and like, okay, if I want something out of this, but if you read like some of those old gaming sites, it's like this is what you do, and this is some of the stuff it helps you at least enjoy the game a little more instead of fucking struggling. Wow, I can like grab the front of the board. Oh, that's fun. Yay.
Yep.
Like when you start spinning and twirling and hitting all the massive tricks for each rider or whatever, snowboarder. It's just like there was some stupid looking shit. I'm like, it's fun. All the bells, the whistles. You finish
yeah.
at the bottom of the hill, all the fucking fireworks go off, and
Yeah, I could play that thing for hours just for shits and giggles because
yeah,
it like
you didn't have to think.
exactly.
And that's one of the nice games where it's not like, okay, one of those war games or the fighting games. Yeah, especially if you're with people, we gotta strategize. We gotta fucking look out for things. We gotta do this. We gotta this. We got a mission to do. And say, no, I don't want to do any of that. I don't rely on those people. I don't fucking try to find a golden fucking crescent wrench. I want to just fucking go down a goddamn slope and okay, there's a hidden area. Go there, do that, jump.
Figure out shortcuts and all
Yeah,
the all that kind of stuff. Yep. Oh, I would play that game for hours. Again, just for shits and giggles, trying to get first place and see if I couldn't beat a score, like
yep.
all that kind of stuff. It was good stress reliever. Again, because you didn't have to think.
No, smash the shit out of buttons. Which are very few games that have that. Just strictly fucking mash buttons to get points.
Yep. Until you started doing the same trick over and over again, your points would start decreasing because
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
come
do something different.
on. Like, let's see, what can I do? I push like triangle, circle, square. I'll go circle, square, triangle, go backwards and see what that does. And it's a new trick, and boom, super bonus points there. I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
Star Wars Battlefront. Hours.
I'll take your word for it.
And
Yeah, I never played any
Black.
Star
Shooting
Wars. Star Trek.
games. It's all I that and hockey and baseball, football, any sports games and first person shooters, and then RPGs on a computer.
Hell, I was obsessed with Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh yeah, played a lot.
That
of that.
I had everything memorized, and by everything I mean everything. All moves, all fatalities, all babalities, like pit fate, like everything memorized. Shang Tsung, I could morph into anybody. But when you're that age and you love like that was your thing because you were so excited when Mortal Kombat actually finally made it to the gaming system from the arcade, the original. Although the Kano heart pull had no blood in the initial release. But
Yeah, I always remember hearing the, oh, it's too violent, too violent, too violent. It's like, come on now.
Compared to today's games,
Yeah.
and of course Ed would go back to Resident Evil. He's been listening for a bit.
You had Pong, Bobby. Don't be bullshitting us.
Pong to Bobby is ping pong on a table. Just busting your balls, Bobby.
Hell, I still remember when we got Atari. Played the shit out of that fucking thing too. God, those games were terrible.
They're more fun.
I'm referring to like from a graphics perspective,
Oh,
like
God,
they were terrible.
Some were just, I don't know how they sold any. Like the football.
Yeah, it was bad.
What was on a computer?
Return to Wolfenstein.
Yeah, Wolfenstein, Doom. I was a boss at Unreal. What was some other ones? What is it? Code?
Code Man?
No.
Code Breaker?
Street Fighter was a better fighting game only because, like, from the mechanics.
Command and Conquer.
Okay. But Street Fighter didn't have the fatalities. That's what made Mortal Kombat Mortal Kombat. But again, usually you were either a Mortal Kombat or a Street Fighter. And then, of course, when Tekken came out, you were one of the three.
So you were the first two and nobody cared about Tekken.
That's true, too.
I remember it, but I don't remember ever playing it. I remember Street Fighter, and I know I've mentioned this a million times. Anytime we've mentioned gaming on here, it's like E Honda and the 1,000-hand slap.
Oh yeah.
People would get just cooking, and then when they beat me, it's like, I fucking beat you. I'm like, cool. I mean, I don't remember us playing for money or anything, but great. You didn't win with that bullshit move. I'm like, it's not a bullshit move. It's in the fucking game. It's not like I used a cheat code to do it.
Well, Chung Lee had the same thing with her fucking leg.
Yep. Yeah, the fucking like the drill bit kick at you, and it's like you can't defend it.
Oh, whatever the fucking guy's name was with the fucking extenda legs.
Was the Indian guy
Yes, but I can't think of what his name is.
because Saget wasn't that. He was the guy with like the army uniform. Blanco was the guy that electrocuted you.
Yep. Balrog was the boxer.
Yeah,
Vega was the guy with the claw and the mask.
yeah. Ken, regular.
Ryu, Guile.
Dalsim.
Yes.
Nelson. There you go. Wow, the research department finally comes through.
Well, I take my time moments when I can get stuff done. Duke Nukem was also one of my games, shooter games, playing LAN parties with that thing.
I played Asteroids and Centipede on Atari. Frogger was by far my favorite game on Atari.
Oh, I like Frogger.
Yeah, when you had basically multiple levels within the game or the level you're playing. Okay, I got to get across the road. Now I got to get across the. Yeah, I'm like, I like that. And then I wish Pitfall actually had a fucking finish. They didn't. It was just get as much as you can. Like the gold, the bags of money, the silver. I'm like, that was it.
Oh, good.
There's nothing else. I'm like, there's never I have to get here, and then something happens. It was just keep going, side scroll. I'm like, what?
Yeah, Fei Long was later though. Ed.
Better Half bought me a Galaga stand-up machine. What was it? 2 or 3 years ago.
I love Galaga too.
Played a lot on that. I love that thing.
Played a lot of Cuber too.
We bought her. You remember the Pizza Huts? You used to sit down and play the tabletop one, the games. Yeah. We bought one of those, Miss Pac-Man, for the better half.
I was gonna say Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man was one of those.
She freaking is a boss at that. And Dig Dug C is like Dig Dug Queen.
The racing game. We had a racing game at the
Pole Position.
Probably. That was another one. You sat down, you had the 2 pedals for brake and gas at our Pizza Hut.
What was my dad bought me an Atari Lynx for Christmas one year. Him and my mom picked it out and they got it at Montgomery Wards. And
that's a blast from the past.
Yeah. And because they didn't think I knew and I figured it out. And it had a bunch of different games. I don't know where it is right now, but I had to ask my dad if he still has it. But there was Road Blaster was on there. Oh, I love that game. I sat there and played that for a long time. And what's the other one? It's not Spy versus Spy. He used to. It was just he had a pistol and there were green aliens.
Metroid?
Huh? No. John Cougar Mellencamp Strikes Back.
Mario Kart?
Mario Kart.
Fun
My
game.
wife and kids are bosses at Mario Kart.
That was another fun game you could play for hours.
That one, I will challenge them.
Dave challenges you to a game of Mario Kart
On Super Nintendo.
on Super Nintendo, though. She's like, screw that shit.
That was the original.
Yeah.
That was one I would play. That and the Super Tecmo Bowl. I just play that constantly.
The Star Wars games on what you call it. I had all three of them, and they were so difficult, and nothing saved.
A lot of games, though, back in those days were super tough.
It was like Drago. If you die, you die.
If I'm being honest, I wish I still had my. So one of the worst games ever on Atari was
E.T.
E.T. I actually had E.T.
It's worth a shit ton.
I wish I still had it because I don't even know what happened to our Atari in all the games. Because like we had Berserk and after freaking Defender, Galaga, and like we had all the big games at the time, and we had ET, and like they destroyed the bulk of them.
Buried them. That was it.
But you know, on the flip side, and I'm pretty sure I told this story before. When PlayStation first came out, I think it was $199. I think the original PlayStation when it first came out. And I wanted a PlayStation because of Resident Evil. I said that previously. Well, I had, you know, my Sega Genesis, I had the 32X, I had a shit ton of games. And I was like, the only way I was going to get a PlayStation is if I traded in all my shit. Well, a lot of people know the game Dune. If you don't know the game, you know the movie. And I'm not talking about the new one. You probably remember the old one before you knew about the new one. I got more money for Dune than I did for the Sega Genesis. What does that tell you? Supply and demand in that situation. I got $40. I think it was like $40 or $42 for Dune. But I did like my trade-in credit. I got enough for the PlayStation, Resident Evil, and a memory card. So I was good to go. Of course, I wish I still had it. Somehow we kept the Nintendo, which I still have. And I think the game that's actually still in it is Excite Bike. It's either that or Baseball Stars, one of the two. But yeah, my Genesis, my 32X, I had the Game Gear. I think I even traded in my Game Boy to get my first PlayStation.
My brother got rid of all the stuff we had, and he looked at me one time and he goes, "Sorry for being a dumbass," because when he was getting sick, he sold a lot of the stuff we had, because we had the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega CD, Super Graphics 16, PlayStation 1. My son-in-law has my PlayStation 2 right now. I'm getting that back. What else did we have? That was about it. We never had Xbox. C has Xbox 360 and the one after Xbox 360. She has a PS3, a PS4, and a Switch. She plays her Switch more than anything. Switch has a lot of good games that are just. She likes those anime games, and they make a lot of those anime games for them, like Demon Slayer, and she has Friday the 13th. So there's Jason rolling around whacking people with a machete.
Yeah, that was on Nintendo too.
Yeah.
That game sucked.
Yeah. This is not too far off, but
Yeah, I still have my original Xbox. I have two 360s.
we have a Wii somewhere. Wish we had a Wii U.
Then the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I have two 360s is because I have like the original release. And then I bought the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 version because it was camouflaged and
Yeah.
it was just cool looking. Didn't need it, but I wanted it.
I bought the PlayStation 2 brand new in a box. It's the slim one. It's got a red and a blue card in it. And as I said, I used to play hockey on there, baseball, black, and that Star Wars game. Just when I couldn't sleep, I would just friggin' play. Then I'd sleep like 3 hours and wake up all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I can't do that anymore.
No, not even close.
No.
Yeah, we used to start playing at 10 every night during the week and played till at least midnight and up 6 o'clock the next morning. Like clockwork for years. And you can't do it. Can't do it.
You need to do something with these goalie gloves.
That was the video, not the mute. There you go.
Goalie gloves. I will return.
Yes, we heard what she said.
No, I think I had.
Is it game 1 of the World Series tonight? Or is that tomorrow?
Knowing our luck, probably.
No,
That's the
it's
culture.
Friday.
Pro sports.
Friday. World
Put
Series starts
something-
Friday.
Put something against us.
Oh, yeah. That's because the world is against us, Dave. Always has been.
Yeah, we had.
But we
Atari.
rise to the occasion. We rise to the occasion.
Atari, then we got the Nintendo. And I think we sold the Atari, but then we found another one in a bunch of games at like a garage sale for like $20. We bought that. And my mom, she didn't really like playing. So that was one of the other technological wizardries she had, that not figure out how to play any of those games. Couldn't figure out how to use a computer. It's just like, I don't have patience for all this stuff. You either get it or you don't. There's no. If you can't hold the controller and you can't figure out how to do things, I can't help you. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So then I got Super Nintendo for my birthday, I think in '92. And that came with Mario World, Mario Kart, and then the send away from Mario All Stars. Which that was my first like hearing about Mario 2 that wasn't Mario 2, which was like basically the same platform as Mario 1, but all tougher fucking things like the wind that would come in and the bullet bills. I mean, you jump, and that's basically where they'd be. Trying to think what else. Never got into Sega whatsoever.
That we were
Sonic, man.
heavy in Sega.
That was something that
Sonic.
it didn't appeal to me. I just never cared.
EA Sports, NHL
Well, yeah, that
games.
anything like
That was it.
EA Sports, it's in the game. That
Yep.
thing is. But they had that also
Sonic.
for Super. So we played that on Super NHL '96, and that was I don't remember what team it was, but man, you could slap it from that left, like the left blue line, if you're going like up the TV instead of back down, like, and I would do that to one now my insurance agent here in town, just 4 years older, and was he would get cooked quick. He was just fucking on fire, just like it's fucking bullshit, and you know it. I said, again, same thing. Just I'm playing the game.
That was my game. Dude, I'd get beat up in football and baseball. I could hold it close, but hockey was my thing. The EA Sports. If I was the Penguins, Red Wings, Toronto.
NBA
Winnipeg.
Jam was a big one on Genesis though too.
Say it again.
NBA Jam.
Oh yeah, I played NBA Jam.
I hope so. I think everybody did.
Yeah.
He's heating up. He's
Shaq.
on.
He's on fire.
Shaq and Penny, baby.
Boom shakalaka.
Or Thunder Dan Marley and Barkley.
It didn't matter who the hell you actually played with.
Malone and
really.
Stockton.
Muggsy Bow.
Oh yeah.
It was so easy once you could figure out the dynamics of the game. It was so easy to like reject all the time. Like it was just, it got to the point where it's like, okay, I just won, 86-22 or some shit. Because you could figure out how to know exactly where to be to reject or pretty much goaltend without goaltending.
Mm-hmm. NFL Blitz, that was another fun one.
Yeah,
Blitz
that was
fun.
a good one. Blades of Steel.
I played that.
That was another good one. We used to rent Nintendo tapes for $1 for the weekend.
Oh, the joys of cheat
Oh,
codes.
yeah.
Freaking Game Genie and Game Shark, man, that freaking that royally pissed off so many freaking people. But man, it sure was great when you had it, when you wanted to freaking just screw around and have fun.
Yeah. I remember when my brother bought that, the Game Genie.
I never had one. I had the Game Shark, which I think wasn't that PlayStation? I think that was the first PlayStation.
That or
research department. Look up Game Shark. Because Game Genie was Nintendo.
Yep.
The original Nintendo.
Did Sega have something?
I don't remember. Because I didn't have it either.
Because I'm trying to think how that would. I want to say I remember something for PS1, but I don't remember what it was.
I think it's called Game Shark.
Game Shark is well known for its use in Pokemon series.
No.
To easily obtain legendary Pokemon.
And no, And it was actually like Game Genie. Like game and then the word genie.
Game Shark, original PlayStation. PS1. No other research department.
And then I loved RC Pro. I've said that on here too. That was such a fun game.
For
I think with
Game Shark.
the game Genie, I think I got to level somewhere in the
622.
70s. No, because I mean, I'm just like nothing's happening now. I'm like it seems like I'm regurgitating some of these previous levels, and like I don't know when it's going to end, and I really don't have the patience for that. And then for PS1, I think my favorite game on there, they had just made it into what a TV series last couple years on Peacock, Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
I fucking the music in the game, every like vehicle's character. That was another one where you could just sit there and rip around and hey, if I die, I die. Like I can blow somebody else up and just collect items, and I can do that. That seems feasible.
So Game Genie actually did so originally released for Nintendo, but then they did additional releases for Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Sega Genesis, and Game Gear. So they were cross-functional.
I remember the Game Boy one.
And Game Shark for Game Boy too. You can buy one on Amazon, $255.
You can go buy a Game Genie on eBay used for $13.
I bought my son-in-law an N64 on eBay for like $100. Controller, 5 games, and all that stuff. He wanted one, so that's what I bought him. It was like 4 Christmases ago. I might get him a PS2 so I can get mine back.
Amazing how though like technology improved in the gaming systems. Like early on, it took years though. You know what I mean? Because Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis were 16, and everybody was just waiting for those. And then Sega developed the 32X expansion. So you actually didn't have to buy a whole new gaming system, but it still cost you $100. The only problem is there were limited game releases. Until it became what, Dreamcast? That was their 64-bit system, I think.
I think.
Yeah, because 64 came out, and then Dreamcast was like right in that same time frame.
Do we really need to talk about Juan Soto? I think that was clickbait for you, Ed.
In the hopes of getting you on, but you couldn't call into work and say, fuck you. You had to go into work. Get that money, pay off those Oasis tickets.
What are you talking about? He pulled that out of his couch cushions.
He sold a PSA 6 Tops update Soto and
Right.
had enough for parking, food, and a place to stay.
Yep, and probably. And if they're in Vegas, he's got tickets to that one. Includes airfare and hotel.
Yeah, because I don't think they got many dates for that tour.
Yeah, I had no interest, so I didn't even bother to look.
I want to say it's under 10. That a way, that's good for a tour. Does that constitute as a tour?
Well, trying to keep the number of dates small, just in the event that there's a shit show.
Yeah, the Gallaghers are not known for getting along, so. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw like Disturbed is touring for their whatever anniversary for their down what is it, the sick album, Down with the Sickness? I don't remember exactly what the album title was, but their first major release or whatever. And pretty big tour. Seven Dust is actually traveling with them along with Bad Omens and somebody else in certain dates. But by the time they got to DFW, the opening acts were like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'd go see Seven Dust again for the fourth time. Bad Omens aren't bad. I wouldn't mind seeing them live. But I can't even remember who like the opening acts were when they started getting down this way. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, I would have rather gone to like the other show.
Yeah, I like Disturbed too. But that's
Well,
one.
as do I, and they're a band I want to see, but for the price of the tickets, it's one of those in which I want at least
Somebody else.
bands, at least two bands. Three is like the icing on the cake
Mhm.
type situation. Let me see if I can pull this up because let's see. I mean, the tickets aren't horrible. Oh yeah, the Sickness 25th anniversary tour. So like, but I was trying to see. Yeah, so 3 Days Grace, Seven Dust. Oh, Bad Omens is no longer on the list anymore. So like Seven Dust, 3 Days Grace, and Disturbed would have been a kick-ass show.
Yep.
That's in select dates. But then when they get here, it's Daughtry and nothing more.
Huh.
It's like you like went backwards, I feel.
Yeah, that's somebody more. Get everybody amped up.
I mean, Daughtry's not horrible. Nothing more is not bad, but I'm sitting like 3 Days Grace and Seven Dusts to Daughtry and nothing. No. There's a problem with this.
Yeah.
And it's a smaller venue, which would have been awesome. But yeah, like no, not going to that because I don't care to see the two opening acts, even though I would love to see Disturbed.
I think I've seen him 3 times now.
I've yet to see him.
First time was a really small in 2006, like the Jack in Duluth, and it wasn't even in like their main. They got like a main where like the hockey team plays, so it's a bigger area, and then this was like basically staging, a fence, and then SRO, like general admission everywhere. So we were right up against the fence and right there. So I'm like, first concert, Disturbed. Then we saw him in, my brother and I saw him in Wisconsin. And then we saw him in Louisville. So I told him, I said, we can avoid them. I love them, but they bring the same energy, and it's not a bad thing. It's just like I want to see some different bands. There's plenty of bands out there I either want to see a second time or maybe a first time, like System of a Down. So
Yeah, that would require them to get back together, though.
I know, or play in America instead of in fucking Berlin or goddamn Vienna or something. It's like, no, come just play fucking do the Oasis thing. Play like 6 fucking shows in the States. I'll pay the money. I'll do it just because I want to see them.
Yeah, I've gotten much more selective from a price point perspective. $50, and at least for 2 bands, I'm okay with. And then if it's a little bit more, it better be 3 bands that I want to see, even if I've seen them.
Yep. 3 bands I enjoy that I either if I haven't seen the one, I've seen the other 2. I know they're decent. The catalog might not be the greatest, but I know I like 2 to 3 songs.
Yep.
Something where at least I know what the fuck's going on.
Well, that was it was the first time seeing 10 years when we went and saw Seven Dust. Granted, it wasn't my favorite album that they played, but still, Seven Dust they're good showmen. They put on a hell of a live show. I don't have to like a lot of the songs from a specific album to not enjoy the show. But I had never seen 10 years before. And, know 3 or 4 of their songs. And they were good. So it was worth it because that was the whole reason. It was to go see a band I hadn't seen that I wasn't opposed to going to see, and then seeing Seven Dust again. So, and if you haven't ever seen Seven Dust, they bring it. So I would highly recommend you going and seeing them if you can.
See, for some reason, I want to see them and like Avenged Sevenfold together. I don't know why. That's always who and it's not. That's just who I always put together because I always get them mixed up. So if I could fucking see them both at the same time, I went to that concert. Who else was there? I don't know. Somebody else, but and every time it'd be a different answer. It's just like I think it's the same one. I'm like, oh, vintage, love that Nightmare song by Seven Dust. And, oh, it's
No, that's Avenged Sevenfold. I've heard though that like lately they don't play a lot of their hits and older stuff for whatever reason. And that's the stuff I enjoy from them. I'm not a huge fan of their newer stuff.
No, it's people fucking they've bought into fandom with you and they've been along for the ride for how long. It's like I don't want to hear all the new shit. Sell your CD at the concert.
Right.
Be like, I'm more apt to probably put a $20 bill down to buy that, even though it's an overpay, just because it's there. Because hey, it's CD. There it is. Hooray! And then play the fucking hits. Don't fucking play this dipshitty music. And again,
that's
Godsmack all the time. Ugh.
Because like Avenged Sevenfold is on my list to go see. But it's one of those in which I don't like a lot of their newer stuff. So if I'm going to pay to go see them, I want to make sure I'm going to get to hear like Nightmare and because that's, well, Bat Country, of course, was their first big hit. I don't expect them to play that, but still, I want to hear their major hits. So, but maybe that's just me.
I remember that from Paul's story, I think, or I don't know if it's a YouTube video or a story. It doesn't look like the Great White type concert. Like real clubbish, intimate setting.
Well, you saw the venue that we were at, though.
Yeah.
Small, intimate, standing room. Well, almost standing room only. Like they had a few, like stools and that type of stuff. But those are the ones that you don't have to get all the way up to the stage in order to have the good experience.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking loud, no matter where you are. You feel it, and you're close enough to actually be able to see them.
Like the First Ave in downtown Minneapolis, where everybody's up on the raised stage. But again, I don't know how many people fit in there, but it's not like over maybe 1,000. And that might be pushing it.
Remember the band Helmet?
Yes.
I went to see them in a little club. It was better than Metallica. That place was the mosh. Oh, it was freaking good. Unbelievably good.
Yeah,
Hello, dog. It's like he just realized I was here. Heavens, didn't you not see me? I was in the basement. Never to come in. But Guns and Alice in Chains, high school reunion. Guns N' Roses, Alice in Chains, high school reunion. Guns N' Roses, Alice in Chains, baby. No doubt in my mind to see, waiting for all my life to see Guns live, and they did not disappoint me. Even though Axl Rose's voice is not what it used to be, it still was pretty damn good. And Chains will never be the same without Lane Staley, but Cantrell was there, and the guy they had singing wasn't bad, so I try to build up I like Metallica, but just after a while, their music just didn't appeal to me anymore.
Well, to each their own.
Exactly. It's called opinions. That's why we have them. I don't hate you for yours, and you don't hate me for mine.
So you think.
Well, if you do, screw you then.
Just kidding. Yeah, I was trying to see if there was anybody else worth a damn coming to Dickies Arena, because it's a smaller place, but
Is that North Texas's basketball court?
no. North Texas is Denton. Dickies Arena is in Fort Worth. It is hosting the first round of the men's NCAA tournament, though, in 2027.
Ooh.
The only other show that would have been worth maybe going and seeing was Creed and Three Doors Down. Three Doors Down is pretty good live.
Yeah. I'd like to see them, Matchbox 20, AC/DC, George Strait.
Yeah, good luck seeing George
I
Strait
know.
anymore, though.
Big and Rich.
Big and Rich. Wow.
I'm eclectic, man.
It's the fact that like I know you like a lot of music, but that's not somebody that I would have ever thought you would have said that you wanted to
love
see.
Big and Rich. I'd love to go see Sarah McLachlan. I love her music. I like Nora Jones, Joel, those kind of Mazzy Star, these old acts from the 90s. I like to see Pearl Jam. I really dug Pearl Jam. My buddy John really dug them back in the day. He used to have all the bootleg tapes and stuff, CDs.
John Cougar Mellencamp?
John Boggs.
That's a vintage name. You don't hear that often.
Yeah, he liked Pabst Blue Ribbon and rotisserie chicken.
I've heard of those too. A lot.
Right now, he's into value marketing and strategic planning.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Nora Jones played at the Ely High School auditorium
Wow.
many moons ago. I don't know when it was, maybe late 2000s, early 10s. Krista went to that, and she still raves about that. And I said, "Yep, that would have been a concert you would have went to, and I would have stayed home."
I wouldn't mind seeing
Sinatra.
Aaron Lewis wasn't bad and Stained.
He likes to talk on stage a little bit more than
Yeah, I could deal with it. I just like his music.
I would prefer it be Stained and not just Aaron Lewis.
I don't know if I'd go see Anthrax. I do like some of their music.
He's going down a list alphabetically now.
Yeah. Sinatra's on there. Elvis, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Blind Melon. Got to get them in there.
Remember Blues Travelers?
No, what are they?
Who?
Is that John Popper and some other people? What now?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going to see them. I wouldn't mind going to see Bob Seger.
Them and Counting Crows. That would be.
Counting Crows is good too.
Charlie.
You saw Brother Osborne, didn't you? Apparently not.
I'm gonna say no because I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
They're a band.
You don't say.
I didn't think it was a Christian revival, brother.
I'd like to see the Cranberries before she passed away.
You'll see them in about a month.
I'm just going down my music list.
Isn't that what I said?
Yeah.
Alphabetical.
Yep. Eric Church, wouldn't mind seeing him.
What about White Church? Is it White Church? Ooh,
Up Church.
No. It was an 80s like rock band.
Oh, I thought you meant the guy that's out now. Like, I've heard the guy. you ever hear the Flies?
Yes.
Yeah, they were
Lord
pretty.
knows.
I got you where I want you.
I got you where that was their big single. Would have loved to saw George Michael. I know that I've said that a dozen times, but I just thought he was a good singer.
He was an entertainer.
Yes, he
That's for
was.
sure.
George Carl.
Mitch Hedberg. Speaking of comedians, I'd have liked to seen him too.
Nice Peter.
Oh, Dice Clay. Andrew
No.
Dice Clay.
Nice Peter.
Oh, Nice Peter. I don't know them.
That he the rap battles in history. You've seen them on YouTube, like George Washington versus like Napoleon, and they had some rapping back and forth. He's the guy that started that, and that was when me and
Gabagool.
at the First National, we went to see him in like some club out in the middle of nowhere, like where we just sat down and talked and played a couple songs, and good time for like $10. I'm like, that's value. That's a hit. Johnny
The
Rivers.
Killers.
Johnny Rivers. The Pope's out of town. Come on. Get amongst the Zups music. Where nobody's alive anymore. Gallagher.
WTF.
If Pantera ever got back together with Phil Anselmo,
They
are.
did.
huh?
But two of the founding members are dead, so like it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah, I know.
Pantera.
It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Phil
That was-
Anselmo, Zach Wilde. I can't remember who they got on drums.
Yeah, look
you
at
got
that.
me at Phil Anselmo and Zach Wild. So
Look at
Pantera's touring.
there was Metallica in the Twin Cities when they came through, and or they weren't with. I don't know if they were with them. I think they were. They were at First Avenue, and then Lars and what's his name came out, Hetfield, on that on the stage there. So I'm like, that's pretty cool. But again, the combined age of the people on stage was like nearly 1,000.
200.
Chili
Yeah,
Peppers,
Pantera.
I wouldn't mind seeing them.
Pantera was touring.
Saw Phil and some
Rammstein.
and the Illegals.
Trying to think who else.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
No, I could do a resounding no to that. I like to saw Prince when he was alive.
What about Prince when he's dead?
I don't know if we get the same appeal.
You never know. Especially if he's drinking the nourishing waters from Lake Minnetonka. Are you going to play blouses versus skins?
I like to saw STP too. That was another band I wish I got to see.
Richard Petty.
Yeah,
Richard Petty.
I know who he means.
The
so.
race car driver.
Well, yeah, STP. That's what he had for a sponsor.
I know.
I like to see Tool. That would be good to see.
They're
I wish
on
we
they're on my kiddos list.
Yeah, I would love to see Tool. I'd like to see you too, but I just like after a certain album, I forget what was it called?
Us too.
Zooropa?
You saw us two at the National last year.
Van Halen's another one that's not going to happen.
The
Wow.
only problem with Tool is Maynard has mostly been doing a Perfect Circle stuff lately.
Yeah. And like
Mudvayne.
rap wise, I
Yes,
don't even
I would-
know what rap
I
concert
just-
I'd go to other than 50 Cent, maybe.
Mudvayne.
Limp Biscuit.
I'd go sip Limp Biscuit for the hell of it.
I'd go see him.
Yeah.
Mudvayne's on my list to go see, Dave.
Oh, Volbeat. I'd like to go see Volbeat.
There's like a lot of those guys that now like you can't watch. Well, we've said it before too, and I screw it. That same thing with like Avenged Sevenfold and Seven Dust. It's Power Man 5000, and there's another group that's just like them. Same kind of thing.
So Power Man 5000. Worlds
Static X.
collide.
Static X.
They're
It's not, again, I know it's not the same, but again, I when I start thinking like the lead singer, the look, that's where my mind goes. Not necessarily
I
the
get
music.
it.
Wayne Static but one of them's dead. I think it's Wayne Static.
Wayne Static is dead.
So I mean, it's like can't see them.
You can like
Again, no,
the guy. Hold on.
I'm not going to hold on to what we got. It does make a difference if it's Wayne Static or not.
But just listen, seriously. Watch original Static X, one of their hits, Push It, and then listen to the one with Zero, who is the new front man when they were touring. It's pretty fucking close, man. It's pretty fucking close.
I get it. But it's like I've seen STP without Wyland because he died before I had a chance to see it, and they sound really good too. If I want to see like a cover band of the original,
it doesn't seem the same. I know what you mean, like because I was fortunate enough I got to see Static X with Wayne Static.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I would have a different comparison because I've seen them live. And then I've seen recordings of live performances with Zero.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's almost identical. It really is. But it doesn't feel the same. So like I get it because when we talked about the, however many episodes ago and talking about Linkin Park and things along those lines, freaking Drowning Pool. Never saw Drowning Pool with Dave Williams. Saw Drowning Pool with the lead singer from Soil.
Yeah.
Who's okay, but it's not Dave Williams. So like I have no comparison for what it was like when Dave Williams was around compared to the guy from Soil.
Mm-hmm.
They were good, but I would have rather seen original. It's no different. Like I love Pantera, but I don't think I could go listen to the new Pantera because I saw Pantera twice. And it's not the same in that sense. So I get what you like. I get where you're coming from, but in the event, like if you have an opportunity to go see them, Static X, I would take the opportunity because it's 3 of the 4 members and Zero is he does the same mannerisms as Wayne. Like he sounds almost identical.
A reasonable facsimile.
Yes, they were very smart in the way that they approached it, and they're keeping Wayne Static's image alive because the mask that he wears it looks like Wayne Static. It's just roboticized a little bit.
Yeah,
but he sounds very, very, very similar to Wayne Static. So don't miss out on the opportunity if you want to go see them just because Wayne is dead. Just saying.
sort of like with the knot. Jorgensen for so many years, and then it's like, well, I'm not. I think my brother, he saw him with, and with. I know he's seen him without because I've been with him.
See, I've only seen the original.
Okay.
Paul Gray and Jordison. So, like, would I go see them again, even with all the changes? Actually, I take that back. Because how many have I seen Slipknot 3 times? I'm trying to like regurgitate in my brain. Because I saw him Ozfest 99. That was the original crew.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was quite a few. Okay, no, I've seen him sans Paul Gray. But Jordison was still on drums. So I didn't see him with Weinberg. And I haven't seen him, of course, with Keston, whatever the guy's name is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was a couple years after Paul Gray died the second time I saw him. So it was almost the original.
Yeah.
Because Jordison was still on drums. At least I'm pretty sure. It's one of the. I usually keep ticket stubs, and I haven't stumbled across like those ticket stubs because that's actually back when they were still physical tickets, not digital.
Another treat of technology.
But I still like. I had tickets to Tool way back when.
Mm-hmm.
Pit tickets to Tool. And the guy I was supposed to go with, we had a falling out. And so I ended up they ended up going to waste. And I think I still have the unused freaking, at least one of the unused tickets. But Tool is number one on the kiddos list. And they consistently, kind of keep looking to see. That's something that I'll pay a little bit extra to go see. Just because, Maynard he's 60, man.
Yeah.
But when they announced the Sacenta tour, it was a Perfect Circle, Pussifer, and somebody else. And I think Maynard is actually part of Pussifer too. Like I know
those.
So he's like he would be performing 2 sets during when that tour was announced, and they were playing small places. But like I've seen a Perfect Circle. So I've seen Maynard, but I haven't seen Maynard in the sense that I want to see him.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why I saw a Perfect Circle is because it was, and I'm, again, like, don't hold me to this. I'm pretty sure it was Seven Dust, a Perfect Circle, and then 9 Inch Nails. And that was like the second time I saw Seven Dust. So back in the late 90s, like it was all about fucking concerts and festivals and all sorts of shit. But there's a lot of things that I don't remember specifically, like the year and who all was playing. But usually I can recall the bands. So I was just glad I got to see when Ozfest, when Ozzy and Nick Iommi kind of buried the hatchet for Ozfest. So you got Ozzy, and then you had Black Sabbath back to back. That was
Tony
fucking-
Iommi.
Is it Tony? Nick, Tony, whatever. Not important.
Am I losing my mind?
Claude Iommi.
It's not important. But anyways,
Gertrude.
the last name is right.
Yeah.
But to
Tony
sit
Iommi.
there, but an hour of Ozzy and then an hour and like 15 minutes of Black Sabbath. That was fucking badass. Because I would have never thought that I would get to see Black Sabbath perform live, even though like some of the members have come and gone, and like a few died, and because like there was almost like a revolving door in Black Sabbath there for a while. But the two of the founding members, like going and seeing them in probably early 2000s, I think. Something I would have never thought that I would have been able to experience. But anyways, we're over 2 hours, 45 minutes. It's coming up on
Today
11
was a
o'clock.
show about nothing, much like Seinfeld. We went everywhere.
Well, we somewhat touched on some of the subject. We informed Ed that the Sotist was, clickbait.
We would never use clickbait.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
There's clickbait. It's a cute dog.
Get the
Oh,
face
golly.
of the cute dog.
I don't even know how to operate this thing.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Tell me when you
Still.
see him.
Down, down, down. There you go. Gally. Gally's looking down right now, so we got ears.
What the piss is going on, Pap? He's a good boy.
You can see,
Yep.
you can see like the top of the ears or like the fucking frog.
I have this tripod is that whatever it's Gorilla, whatever tripod. It sucks. I don't know why I bought this particular one. Next time I'm buying one that just got 3 sticks on it and you stick it on there and done.
Well, how many?
I mean,
you wouldn't have that problem if you moved back to your laptop.
say it again.
I said you wouldn't have that problem if you would move back to your laptop like you said you were going to.
Yeah, I got to get to that.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Hashtag facts. Continue, David.
Wrap us up, Dave.
Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for Robert coming on. Dropping a little patented Robert knowledge. We talked about some of the subjects. Didn't talk about others, or we very, very quickly glossed over some things. But
We don't ever do that.
no.
We're a life podcast. Beyond cards.
We're random.
If you don't like it, piss off. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Sit in a cactus.
That works.
So, until next week, for Vincenzo, for Steve, I'm Dave. This has been the IRP. Remember, collecting cards is a wonderful hobby. The friendships you form along the way, that's what really matters. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.